What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast. I am Big Doss. I'm here today with the boys, Luke and Chris. And today we are going to be talking about something that is on everybody's mind, the NBA season. It is pretty much at a complete standstill right now. What's the date today? I think it's May 14th.
I don't even know.
I don't know when this started. It's been about a month, probably 2 months now.
I think it was around March 20th.
Something March. Okay, about 2 months now. And we haven't had sports.
I've stopped keeping track of time in general.
I mean, we're at an all-time low right now. I think we've pretty much hit rock bottom.
We'll bounce back.
I broke my arm. There's no sports. You can't even go out into public. Life.
You can't even play video game sports right now.
Yeah,
there's no sports for you.
Life sucks right now.
What am I supposed to do? Go on a swing set? Like, what the fuck?
Well, you could go on a swing set.
No, it's probably contaminated.
I could build you a swing set. Your own swing set.
That would be nice.
And I'll build a gate around it, and we can keep it right here, and you can come play as much as you want.
Only Chris gets to swing on that swing.
Yeah, only me. Otherwise, fuck you.
So, should the NBA season continue? That's the question. That's the topic of the day. And I don't know. I feel like it should. I feel like since the league started, there's never been a year where there hasn't been a winner of the championship. I think we got to figure it out, whether they continue to play the regular season or just go straight to the playoffs. In my opinion, I think we should go straight to the playoffs.
I can see that just because it's going to be really hard to get back to, playing all those games in the amount of time we have left. They're either going to have to make the playoffs a lot shorter, or they're going to have to cut the regular season. And when do the playoffs typically start?
They usually start, I think, in
September? Or is that
no, September.
No, never mind.
No, they always end in June.
Right,
so I believe they
true.
start in April.
Yeah,
how many games were left?
That's the golden question. How many games are left? I feel like there was only like 10 to 20 games left.
Somewhere around 20. Yeah.
So if anything,
still crucial though.
But yeah, because it's not fair to some of the teams that
they could have had a comeback year.
True. I think if anything, they should allow the teams to play 7 to 10 regular season games left. Like cut the rest of the regular season in half and let them at least warm up a little bit, get their bodies back in shape. Because if they go into it too fast,
we're not going to see good basketball if they go straight
to
the playoffs.
Well, you don't think they're keeping in shape right now?
No, dude. A lot of them don't. A lot of these guys don't have home gyms. They're just, there for a year. They're there for 2 years. So a lot of NBA players don't even have big, nice houses. They just get a decent apartment and they have a 1 year contract. Yeah, and most of them don't have home gyms or they don't have access to home gyms. And I was watching, so my uncle, Greg Gurley, who played basketball at Kansas with Scott Pollard. I grew up with Scott Pollard, he was pretty much my second uncle. You remember Scott from the Lake.
Yeah.
And the dude is absolutely awesome. But I was watching him on the podcast, and he played in the NBA for, I want to say 9 or 10 years. And he was saying that there's no way that anybody is in NBA shape. He said if they come straight back, that there's going to be a ton of injuries, and people are going to get hurt, and their bodies aren't going to be ready for it. So that's also a real big concern, is jumping back into it too fast.
Interesting.
That's true. And, there's been some really weird, theories thrown out there about what they should do when they come back. And I was listening to sports radio here in Arizona on the way over, and one of the theories they proposed was that the playoffs start as soon as the season comes back, with the teams that are in the playoffs right now making it, and then they do a redraft of all the players that didn't make it to the playoffs, and then 2 rounds of a draft, so those players could get picked up to the teams that are in the playoffs.
What?
Yeah, to give
Whose
the
theory is this?
So,
what dumb fuck decided this was a good idea?
I don't think it's a good idea at all, but
there's no good theories, man. This shit's just fucking everything up.
Way, but
yeah.
But here's what I think they should do. I think that they should just test everyone, and if you are negative, you can't play. It's as simple as that, in my opinion.
Are there more tests available to be able to do that right now?
That's true. I haven't been keeping up enough.
Well,
you haven't been checking daily updates of coronavirus tests available to the population.
I think the NBA has enough money to make that work out, though.
They do, but they have to think about the backlash, because when the Utah Jazz, Rudy Gobert, he had coronavirus, and this is when the whole thing was just starting.
He was mocking it, touching the
he
mic.
was doing that, and then they got the whole entire team tested within 2 hours, and I saw people outraged because everyone's saying, oh, it's impossible to get tested. The people that are dying can't even get tested for coronavirus. Why is it that the Utah Jazz can get a test for every single player and coaching staff on their team within 2 hours? So I feel like they would have a lot of
It's
backlash
possible.
using all of those tests. I think that it wouldn't be a good look for the NBA.
That makes sense. I just think like that would be the best way, but I didn't know that we had a
True.
shortage.
Yeah, there is. I'm not sure if that's changed, but last I heard, that's what was going on.
I've heard that, but I just thought that maybe we would have gotten more by now.
I think they would have to just accept the backlash from that, because the backlash would be
True.
way worse if one player got it and then the whole NBA got
True.
it. Because what they're proposing is that when they come back, they all play at one site. They're coming
Yeah, they were
back,
talking about renting
shortened
Disneyland.
season. Yeah, exactly.
Or
Just
Disney
playing
World.
all the games there. So I mean, can you imagine like if one person got it, they're all in close quarters.
True.
Like that. They
How would
have
they
to
do
test
that? So would they basically rent out Disney World? They have facilities there. Would they basically have everyone in the NBA and their families on site be on complete lockdown, like no one's allowed to leave? Like, what if someone wants to leave?
That's
Are they
crazy.
allowed to come
Yeah.
back in? Like, say LeBron's wife and kids, his son has a basketball game and they leave. Are they allowed to now come back in? How does that work?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of
Man,
feel
it's
like
tricky.
families shouldn't be there, because
I think it should
they're
just be the
kids are
players.
going to school.
Yeah.
They almost have to like
They just gotta-
isolate completely.
Yeah,
while
they
they're
just got to
there.
go to work.
Yep, and then they can go home, and when they have 2 or 3 days off, see their family, get tested before they come back. But I don't think that it's going to be a case where they're moving all their families to this one place, because
Yeah,
that's just going to be
that
too
is
big
kind
of
of a shit show.
It's going to be a shit show regardless.
But imagine if your dad was in the NBA and you got to live at Disney World for 2 months.
I mean, if your dad was in the NBA, you would have a lot of cool shit that most other kids don't have.
So true.
Disney World might not even seem that exciting
Yeah, it's
for a
like-
while. It's
I don't
like,
care
my
about
house is
Disney
cooler
World.
than Disney
Yeah,
World.
so true.
But yeah, dude, I don't know. I think that the NBA needs to come back. They have to finish this season, whether
Absolutely.
it's 4 months from now, and
They have to. They can't go without seeing who's the king this year.
And my theory is they should maybe when they come back, do a shortened season, but maybe the games are worth more. Maybe a win is worth 2 wins and a loss is worth 2 losses, so the teams can catch up that aren't in the playoffs. So say we're skipping 20 games, we're only playing 5 of them. Maybe a win is worth 4 points and a loss is worth -4 points in your standings.
But don't you think that people, like, say you're a little bit of ahead right now, like, wouldn't you be pissed if you're like, oh, if I lose 1 game, it's worth 2 losses?
Yeah, but I
Like,
mean,
there's no real right or wrong way to do it. I think, if anything,
But what if you're a bubble team? You're like like the Blazers right now aren't in the playoffs.
I
But
think
they
if
have
anything,
a chance to make it.
I think if anything, we say, we're going to do 5 to 10 regular season games. We're going to do it in a shorter amount of time than we usually do, and we see who makes it to the playoffs, and we do the playoffs. And maybe instead of a best out of 7 series, we do a best out of 5.
Yeah, that's true. I just don't know what the incentive would be for those teams that have no chance to make the playoffs to go back during all of
And
this.
maybe that's a thing. Maybe those teams completely forfeit their season, and we narrow it down to who's actually in the running. Say there's 5 games left, and you have absolutely no chance of the playoffs. We put the teams who are closer to making it against each other and see who's the better
That's a
man.
great idea.
That makes sense
or
to me.
even taking the teams that are guaranteed already a playoff spot, and then you take the lower level teams where it's kind of a gray area where they don't know who's going to make it, and you just let those teams duke it out and see who gets a playoff spot, and then do like a best out of 5 playoff series instead of best out of 7,
I
and
think
get the
best
season
out of-
over with.
Best out of
So wait,
3
are
was
you-
what the NBA proposed.
Really?
Yeah,
and then
that was
maybe
one
the
of
actual finals do a real best out of 7?
Yeah, a real series for
Okay.
the finals. That would be my vote. Shortened
Yeah.
playoff series, but the finals got to.
Because, I mean, there's got to be a sacrifice somewhere.
there it is. Yeah, yeah.
So you're saying sacrifice the teams that aren't doing well.
That's right. We take them to the top of a Mayan temple and we sacrifice.
Appease the gods.
We appease Adam Silver.
Oh man,
Oh man, yeah. I don't know, man. It's
a shit show.
It is a shit show. That's for damn sure. And for my Blazers, I'm a little bit. I'm bummed, dude. I thought that our season was going to start picking up after the playoff break, and we had a shot to make the
playoff
playoffs
break? You
still.
mean the All-Star break?
Yeah, we had a shot to make the playoffs still, even though it was an outside shot. But I feel like I don't want them to go back and play if there's no chance for them to make the playoffs. What if Damian Lillard gets injured and then he's out the next
Yeah.
year?
It's a risky ball game.
Yeah.
So
I like
if
your idea of all the contenders for the playoffs. Say we have 10 games left, and if you're more than 5 games out of the playoff hunt, and you can't make it, then those teams don't play. We make a new schedule. There's 5 to 10 more games. Get them warmed up, ready to go, and then playoffs.
Yeah. If we do continue the season, who do you guys got for the championship? I think it's going to be Lakers versus Bucks.
I got the Bucks overall.
I think the Bucks might pull through and Giannis gets his first
I
title.
hope so. Yeah.
I think he's so underrated, and I think no one's going to respect him until he wins a championship.
Yeah, and I don't think the Lakers are gonna. I don't think they're gonna. I don't even know if they'll make the finals. Honestly, I don't know. There's a lot of good teams. I think the Bucks are gonna win it all, but I think that the. Shit, sorry, I'm blanking right now.
We just had an intruder.
Yeah, I know.
You heard the door alarm.
How are the Celtics doing right now? Are they
Celtics are
are
in
they
it.
in the playoffs?
I think
Are
they're-
they?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I
really?
don't think
They're not
I thought
doing
they were
good.
I'm not sure.
I thought they were
See,
like third or
I
fifth
have
in the
not been
West. I know,
keeping
me
up
neither.
as much as I should this year. to be
I'm just
honest.
rusty because I haven't looked at anything in 2 months.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
man.
there's nothing on. Like, it's kind of like, what's the point of keeping up on sports when we don't like? If
It's
we
a
had a
tease.
date, if
It's
we
a
had a date
tease.
set to come back, then we. But the other thing is, I saw that LA is in lockdown and no sporting events in LA until August. So there's no
Yeah.
possible way.
Well, Disney isn't in LA. I think that's in Anaheim.
That's true.
Yeah.
So,
what
yeah.
about like New York teams? What are they gonna do? That's like the
I think that's why they're figuring out just putting
Yeah.
everyone in one area
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
and getting it approved by the local government.
The local government.
I just want sports back, man. Life just feels so boring and empty right now. I mean,
I'm sorry. Do you
vid-
need a
vid-
hug, Chris?
vid- I
wish
do,
I could
man.
give you a hug.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
but
if I could get up, I would. but-
video games are only so fun for so long,
Yeah. Well, maybe we could, have a marble race. You've seen those where they build the obstacle course and you put your marbles. You make you cut, a little course in the dirt with little tracks, and everyone has a marble, and you just let it go. See
Yeah,
who
dude.
gets
Dude.
first place. They've been having that on ESPN. That's how
ESPN
low
2020.
life is right now.
I'd throw some bets on that.
Yeah, for sure. I got the turquoise marble, 20.
I'll take the red.
0.5 grams.
Anyways, guys, that's our thoughts on the continuation of the NBA season. It has been another episode of the Man Cave podcast. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode.
Let's go.
Peace.
Late.
Skirt. Sorry, man. I had too many Millers.
I
Couldn't
know, me
even do
too.
that fucking outro.